What is happening? What's happening? Let's get started. Let me just make sure my live going out to YouTube, X, and Instagram. Let me just go we're live on Instagram. Cool. There we go. How's everybody doing? It's been kind of a red day out there today. A lot of a huge dump, and we could talk a little bit about what caused that. And in all honesty, a strategy that you could continue doing just because that will prevent it. What's up? Time to buy the dip, right? Time to buy the dip. Exactly, Jay. Time to buy the dip. You said it correctly. It is time to buy the dip. That's why there's an opportunity in this every time that somebody gets frustrated that there's some sort of thing that happens like this. It really is, go buy the dip. Make sure this is all going live. 1 second. Always paranoid. There we go. And I'm trying something else out. I'm going live to I'm going live twice to YouTube, once in vertical, just to reach more of the fam. Cool. It's working. Awesome. Cool. Let me check X real quick. Again, paranoid. Better to be over. Check. I've done live streams before where Here we go. Good. Perfect. I've done the whole entire lives where the mic's not even on. It's kind of frustrating. But okay, let's dive into this real quick. So I just have Trading View up, and we could see. I'm just looking at Bitcoin right now, and there was a huge crash, right? We all experienced it. We all saw this crash happen. But, there's one thing I want to point out. So you say, oh, Bitcoin crashed, and somebody might get frustrated on Bitcoin. This is not just a one currency crash. And, take a look at this. We look at, ETH. What are we going to notice? A very similar pattern right here at the same exact time. And then you can look at Solana. And we have right here, it's, still trending down. I was even looking at, since the drop. Let me move these. Oops. Still doing that. Let me move that real quick. Actually, hold on 1 second. Let me throw on the second monitor real quick so I can see the chat while I'm live. Sorry about that. Here we go. Let's do that. There we go. Now I can see you. Yeah, and feel free to leave a comment. So I'm watching the chat. Cool. But, this is kind of like an odd time with the trading. But so, I'm just moving see, it's still trending in the wrong direction. Guess we'll see. Does this kind of lead to here now? A little different. I just gotta figure out. But like I said, so you could be looking at this as there's some sort of bullshit happened. Oh great, Solana's crashing, ETH's crashing, Bitcoin's crashing, and again we should probably dive in a little bit into why. So let me make sure I have a backup. Cool. Just getting a little recording for us. Cool. But yeah, what caused it? So let's jump over here. Here to this. Actually, I need to do this. There we go. There you go. So we can see that it crashed. It sucks. Boo-hoo. And by the way, just a friendly reminder, I'm not a financial advisor, so make sure that you're always doing your own research. I'm just sharing with you exactly what the results that I've been getting and how I've been making income with DeFi. And, there's a whole bunch of ways that we could all be doing the same thing. So, is that why? There we go. Let me just bring up this real quick. I'm going to go start a stream on Pump Fun real quick because we want to let everybody on Pump Fun know that we're live. I was having a little trouble with Pump Fun and OBS, so you know it still worked. There we go. It's weird. There it is. Just give me 1 second, guys. Okay. Yeah, just trying to go live on Pump Fun as well before I get started. And if you don't know what Pump Fun is, we actually have a token that is over at Pump Fun. It's called Unblock. I named it that because, you know, this is Unblock. I'm blocking the blockchain. Figured it would fall in line with our brand. So there we go. But I was having trouble with doing OBS on there, so there we go. Okay. Perfect. Sorry about the wait. There we go. So Pump Fun is actually a way that you can make passive income with your, 1 second, I can't type and speak at the same time. Passive income with your streaming. And you also, like, my coin got a big pump at the very beginning, so it's definitely a cool addition to the kind of the, I don't know what you call it, the repertoire, so, or the different things that you could use to actually as a content creator, and you could earn in crypto versus having to, you know, wait. You just, people trade your charts, they see you're active, and I get people that trade my charts still. And it still trickles in a little bit of passive income. It definitely has gone down a little bit since it started, but you know, it's definitely giving me a little bit of an income stream, which is kind of nice. Which when I started on YouTube and when I started on other platforms, like, I don't get paid from X at all. So I think that it's just a cool way to do this. Well, let's see. Is that I'm live? One second. And it's interesting, actually. I'm looking at the rewards right now because of the big coin crash, the price crash. It shows that I made less, but it's all in Solana. That's an important thing to always remember. Even though the price of a coin went down, that doesn't mean that, you know, you're out of, you know, you're shit out of luck. The price of the coin did go down, but let's see, there we go. Get live on there. The price of the coin did go down, but this is a chance for you to actually start acquiring tokens on this platform in a dip. And what I like, the strategy that I'm going to share that I usually use. 1 second, let me make sure. Yep. Okay, we're good. All right, and then I'm going to share the screen over on Pump Fun. One second. This is why it's easier just to do it on one. Oh well. Next time, I'll figure it out. Definitely doesn't want to be the one that I'm doing, so. Oh, it is that one. Okay, I figured it out. Okay, I finally figured it out. I think. I didn't figure it out. Because I'm still. That's what the issue is. There we go. Sorry about that. I finally figured it out. I swear. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm sharing on Pump Fund now. No more distractions. Cool. All right, back to it. So you see that everything was dipping, and we got to ask why. And in all honesty, the honest reason was there was an announcement by the U.S. president today. And let me go bring it up real quick. Where's tab is it under? Right here. So Trump announced, where is it? Where does it say the actual? Trump statement it's similar to like Liberation Day, where he announced Liberation Day, when he announced the tariffs that were going to go into place, and it caused a bunch of uncertainty in the market. And the thing is, like, I believe in the market either way. I believe that long term, it's going to could actually pull through. And part of the reason why is because what I actually believe is that a lot of these people that have that, like, I'll say Trump, for example, is making these announcements so he can manipulate the market, so he can make money. And one of the things that I always look at is, if we could either complain about it and, be upset that these people are doing this to the market, or we can benefit from it because maybe we didn't know that they were going to make this announcement. They probably had shorts in place and they're whatever, manipulating. It sucks. That part sucks. But what we do have is that, that the prices are probably to go back up because a lot of that money, now that the prices are cheaper, they'll put it back in. And the prices will go up as people start building the market back up. And then what's going to happen, and again, not financial advice, I'm just telling you my opinion, what's going to happen is the price is going to go back up, and the same thing's going to happen again. This entire next 3 years is just going to be a cycle of this same thing. And instead of complaining about it, we could actually just benefit from it, that we could actually, make money from it, because we understand why it's happening. And, when it happens, that it's not like a nail in the coffin, because a lot of these people that, that are in control right now, they have a lot of money in crypto. So why would they want the entire thing to crash and burn? They don't. But they want to keep on pulling huge chunks of money out whenever it starts to pump too much, so it doesn't pump. They're just taking the money, and then it's going to pump back up, and they'll do it again. Maybe it will recover to a slightly higher amount, but it's just going to correct. So that's what I believe. It's just going to go up, and then it's going to correct back down when they decide to do whatever news it is. They trigger the news. They control news so they could trigger things that will actually affect the market. So I think that's an important thing to think about. You see that Trump's statement reminded the market of April 2nd, when his Liberation Day tariffs announcement spooked the markets. It's very similar because he's announcing tariffs, and when there's uncertainty, people don't want to put money in things. So on Friday, and again, that's dumb money. Just so you understand, that's what I call dumb money. And, I'm sure a lot of people that are smart money sold ahead right at the very beginning, triggering the dumb money to sell right afterwards. So Bitcoin immediately fell below 119 after reaching a record high earlier this week. And it's now like at the moment of this, it says 117. Like at the moment, I can look at Bitcoin is at 111,500, which that means it continued to drop after this article was written. This was crypto news. And crypto-related stocks such as Coinbase, Robinhood, and MicroStrategy declined by 5 to 10% as digital assessments and technology shares sold sold off simultaneously. U.S. equity index dropped immediately following the comments. The S&P 500 closed lower by 2.71%, and the Dow Jones industry lost nearly 900 points. The NASDAQ composite fell the most with a 3.56%. So, yeah, it's not just crypto, it's not just stocks, it's just across the board, because that type of news creates fear and uncertainty. So they just don't know. So that's the reason why there was the big dip. Now, also, if you look at like the liquidity, it was kind of like hitting there was a lot of things were being overvalued. And so this is a way that it corrected itself, but because it was triggered from tariff news, it just means that it's going to, it was done intentionally. So So the shutdowns and regulatory delays, the sell-offs occurred at the U.S. government shutdown entered its 10th day, leaving agencies such as the Securities and Exchange Commission operating with limited staff. So they didn't have the chance to even regulate what was going on. The SEC confirmed on October 10th, which for me right now it's still October 10th, that most normal review and approval processes, including pending cryptocurrency related filings, remain delayed until funding resumes. So whatever negative or positive regulatory things that are going to happen, it's done now. So, I mean, it's not done. It can't be done right now because everything is shut down. Friday's session saw a broad risk off shifting Trump's tariff threat and ongoing fiscal gridlock in Washington. Gold prices rose more than 1%, while oil slipped by a 5-month low. And the combination of trade tension, political uncertainty, and thin regulatory activity contributed to the decline in both traditional and digital markets throughout the day. So, and again, I just want to remind you, I know that it's frustrating when these things they dip like this, and you're like, oh man, I was buying at 120 for Bitcoin, or I was buying at $200 or $225 just yesterday for Solana, and now it's at 190 or I think it's floating around 190 at the moment, right? It's at 185 right now. You could have bought it an hour or so ago, and it would have actually been more expensive. Let's take a quick look at what the price. Here we go. I don't know why it's zoomed in so much here. So we could just say this and bring up our swap page, which, by the way, if you go to Jupiter has a really great system where you could bring up their swap page and have access to a whole bunch of stuff from TradingView right now, like the indicators, because on TradingView, with the free plan, you only get 2 indicators that you could use, but with this, you could actually, it's linked to your wallet, you could add a whole bunch of indicators if you like. So I think that makes it really cool. Off topic, but is this going to make it full screen? It is going to make it full screen for you, at least. It makes it full screen for me. Let's just go over that. There we go. So we have, this is just Solana, right? So because we are looking on Jupiter, which is a Solana aggregator, and you could see right here, there were big sell-offs. And the thing is, enough people would have had to have the liquidity to sell at the same time. So it was either big I got to look at the actual amounts, but people sold off. Some people thought that this was the bottom and it corrected, and then people sold off and sold off and sold off. And now these are people, this very well could be people that sold here that are buying back in here. So that's kind of the nature of it. If they sold here at 225 or 220, what's the top right here? 210 or 208, and it started crashing, and then they could continue buying here. And that's kind of the nature of any, you could have done that right here. Look, say you bought in or sold right here. You could have bought back in right when it hit the bottom Bollinger Band. And then it could correct, and we have the 20-day moving average right here in the middle. And then, it bounced off of that. But, if you were holding long term, you could have sold here. Even if you sold here, it's still going to correct back up over time. It just matters on what your time frame is, Also, let's take a look at, I could actually do it on here because I could go to perps. You could look at Ethereum, had a very similar crash. Same exact thing. That's why I'm saying it's not just one coin. It's the entire market. Had one big crash right here, and then it recovered, and it's a very similar chart to what just happened with Solana, and the same thing with Bitcoin right here. Look, this is the granddaddy, the big guy, and it had it crashed, had a correction, and then crashed even more. This would have huge, it almost went down to 105,000, 104 and a change, and it corrected and went back up. And just to my point before, look what happened is it went back up until it found its volume because the volume actually narrowed here. That's what the Bollinger Bands are showing. The volume narrowed, hit the top Bollinger Band, and then reversed. And look, it even followed the same exact pattern where it hit the bottom Bollinger Band, hit the middle, like the moving average in the middle, and then corrected back down. Now, you know, again, indicators are just indicators. They're not guarantees, but I think that's a really important thing, a really important thing to consider. So, yeah, so, okay, so, oops, there you go. So looking at Solana, 182.82. Look, 82.82. Isn't that fun? The heat map. Look, we got, this is for Solana. Let's see, futures. People are, this is actually a good point. Spot. Futures. People are actually really, really active on Solana and futures because the prices are changing right now. Okay. Cool. And then, I don't think this is related to it, but to it directly, but this is actually interesting. Nobel Peace Prize organizers probing insider trading on Polymarket. It makes sense. I mean, that would make sense. But again, unrelated. I don't think that has anything to do with the market crashes. Insider trading. Wonder how they would know, how they would find out. But yeah, this was probably the biggest red day in the entire year so far, like the biggest crash. And again, I just want to point out that this is all because of market manipulation. It's not, it's not like, I'm not making this political. I'm just saying it was what happened. There was an announcement, a public announcement, and it caused all the crashes. You know, it was 100% done intentionally. So it's, but you know, it is what it is. We could bitch and complain about it, or we could do a couple things. We could look at this red right now. It sucks. And we could say, what do I believe is good? Like, look at this. This is the best way to look at it. Which of these do you wish were 10, 15, 25% cheaper yesterday? Which of these were you saying, damn it, Solana is so expensive at $225. I wish it was $180. Guess what? It's $180 today. So you don't need to wish that it is higher. It literally is higher. Go and actually use it. Go and actually buy some. It's like, I roll my eyes at that just because that's what it is. It's done. It's on sale. You want to buy Pepe? Right now it is 28% on sale right now for you to buy in, and when it recovers, sell it, and you made an additional 25% on whatever you would have bought in yesterday. Maybe Link is down by 29%, almost 30%. You can get 30% off of Link. Binance Coin, Binance BNB. 11.4% discount right now. If you just buy right now, it might have even been cheaper. Pengu right there, look, 27.22%. That is a sale. Tron is on sale for 20.79% off right now. Gary Coin actually is another good example. Let's see. Let's just go to Gary real quick, because that's a token on the Solana blockchain. I'm bullish on it, and it was sitting at like what, just almost like 15.5 cents, you know, and they're building a stacker agent right now, which is an AI automated agent that trades for you. Right now it's got a mass extract one, which will buy at a certain market cap and then analyze the charts and then try and sell at the best pump in the chart possible. And again, not the point, but look, somebody took an opportunity right there. Look at this. This is just a 15-minute chart right here. There was a dip there. Somebody bought right there. But the big dip obviously came. Here we go. Hour charts. The big dip right there. I mean, let's go to the minute charts there. Oh, it's not showing it correctly. It's weird. But the big dip here was today. Like, it's showing around, you know, when it happened around noonish. my time, and it crashed because Solana. This is a USD price or USD pool. Let me put this on the Solana pool. Oh no, it's still on the right pool. We're not crazy. See, it's Solana. But the price crashed because it's paired to Solana. There is a pool that has USDC in it, but it only activates after 25 cents. So that means that since Solana went down in price, it was still in the Solana pool is mainly what it was on, and now Solana's price has gone up and has gone down. And it means that the price, because it's backed by Solana, the price in dollar value has gone down. But what this means, it's an opportunity for you to say whatever your favorite altcoin is, whatever it happens to be, you get to go in and you get to buy those on sale. Like another really big one that I like is OOT, and it's because, again, I like utility tokens. And this is related to the same community, and it's actually a pump fund token. And they keep on burning down the supply with the rewards, which makes me more bullish on it. And they're also going to be giving out the rewards to the community by buying more of this and buying more of Gary. So again, actually, look at this. It barely was affected. Not nearly as affected as the other ones. It was able to fight back, which is cool. But again, things like that are the ones that are like the ones that I like to stick with. But if you don't know and you're like, hey, I don't know what those are, yeah, I gave you some personal suggestions. Again, do your own research, but look at these charts. Just look at the bubble chart. Look, there's one that's just gone green. Let's check it out. Why you just go green? Maybe somebody launched a token. It's actually an old chart, old coin. It's not a new coin. You're not brand new. Yeah, you got some history. A very flat token, but not the point. Not the point what I'm getting at. Point is there's one green one there, and I was noticing it. But this is your chance. Look at this. This is a sale chart. You ever go into like the grocery store and you're like, what's that? What will be the low point to buy Bitcoin? I'm not sure about I think that a lot of these, any point that you feel comfortable to go in is great. Like we could do this here. I'm not sure about Bitcoin. What I usually use, I use this tool. Hold on, let me bring up. You could use it for free. It's called Stacker GPT. You can use it 100% free. I post it regularly on my X account. If you wanted to grab it's just a custom GPT. So why don't we do this? I'm just going to do this for Bitcoin. This is more for Solana, just to be fair. But let's do it for Bitcoin. It's not going to be able to access like all of the Bitcoin data, but like it does for Solana. But let's do this. So, okay, here what we're gonna do. What I like to do is this. I like to grab. I'm just grabbing them from Jupiter from a trading view account. So I'm just gonna grab these screenshots. You can just hit copy image. Here, let me bring this over here so I don't keep on going back and forth. I'm gonna paste a bunch of these charts in here. I did 1 minute. And this is what I like to do. I don't want to always think about, like, you asking a question. That's great. But the goal is that we don't have to think about this stuff, that it's so easy to have AI analyze these charts. And you know, I respect, people's opinions and their thoughts. But if AI consistently gets me profits, then I'm going to lean into AI and I'm going to believe what it's saying until it starts proving itself wrong and starts making me lose money. I want it to make me money, right? That's the goal. So I'm just doing everything from 1 minute, and I'm just doing a whole bunch of charts. I got like a 1 minute, a 5 minute, a 15-minute, a 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hours, and I just get a 4 hour. Again, I think those higher end ones might be a bit of a stretch, like need wise. So here we go. Let me just zoom in here so you can see a little bit better. Based again, remember this GPT is meant for Solana, but you get the idea. On these charts, what do you believe the lowest? And again, remember, Bitcoin is being manipulated by people in the news, so I don't think there's going to be more manipulation, but I'm just speculating. I'm just guessing. The lowest short-term price for Bitcoin in this dip. So I buy at the lowest amount. So let's just see what it gives us. Like, again, I don't usually do this for Bitcoin on this, but I usually do it for Solana. This is a great GPT to help you. It would have been crushed you today, but using things like perpetuals, and doing that on Solana. Or maybe if you were doing a short, it would have done really well for you. Who knows? Let's see. It's usually on Solana, it will access the Bird Eye API. And right now it's taking its time. I can copy this just in case it glitches out on me. It says it's still looking. There it goes. Excellent. You gave me full multi-time frames with Bitcoin's current structure, and I can see what's happening here clearly. Let's break it down with the Stacker Agent analysis. And again, Stacker Agent is a custom GPT, and there's also a Stacker like a Stacker Agent, which is in early private beta that auto trades different strategies for you with on the Solana blockchain, I've done a couple lives on that already, and I'm always posting video content on that as I'm testing it. I'm going to continue to be sharing that, but it's the GPT, this GPT I'm using is 100% free. Go and grab it. It's you can search for Stacker Agent, or I post on my X all the time. Okay, so across structure overview. I mean, before I read this, let me drink this. All right, there we did. Across structured overview, across all time frames, Bitcoin has clearly entered a liquidity flush. We can see RSI dipping below 20 to 35 levels, extremely oversold on multiple time frames. So extremely oversold. I think that's a key thing to think about. So that means that no matter what price you're going in on, you're actually still, you're under. Like anything you buy at low, or like buy low on right now, is profit, if you think about it. So because it's gonna rebound because everything's oversold. Volume spikes, capitulation candles indicate forced liquidation rather than organic selling. I was talking about this earlier. See, I'm not completely crazy, guys. Maybe I'm crazy, but I'm not completely crazy. But it's forced liquidation rather than organic selling, meaning that they're selling huge chunks and people are following suit. Bollinger Bands are wide open, price hugging the lower band, signaling a voluntary climax is near. This setup looks like we're in the final stages of a sell-off with a potential short-term bottom forming, meaning that we're already kind of close to it right now. So, resistance zone. From the charts you posted, resistance zone, where short-term rally likely pause. So there was $14,000, then $15,000, and then $18,000 for the resistance zones, like where it pumps to and then push back. So, thanks for reposting me, Jilly. Thank you for reposting me. I see that. Support zone and potential bottom areas. There's 110,000. Let's actually, what is the current price of Bitcoin right now? It's 111,000. So support zones, potential bottom areas, 110. It's already past that. 107, 800, and then that's key liquidation pockets. There's liquidity pockets. There's places where there's people that have already placed orders to buy. What that means is, so if you don't understand, you could be a market maker and say, I'm always willing to buy at this price. So you could put an order in and say, I have this much that I'm willing to buy when the price goes to this price, like just sitting there. So that means that there's already currently tested and there's key liquidity, meaning there's people that are waiting at 107, 800, waiting to buy at that price when it dips. And there's few people, but there's still people there waiting for it to wick. And when it wicks, it usually just whoever had their order in first, it will liquidate all those people. Not liquidate, it will sell to all those people at that price. And then there's nobody willing to buy, like sell higher. So and then you're going to be able to, it gets filled. Okay, so likely short-term path based on your current structure. RSI on 4 hours and 1 day is deeply oversold. Open where Bitcoin finds short-term bottoms. Momentum is waning on the downside, meaning that we're already getting close to the bottom and it's going to start coming back up. Sellers exhausted after the 30 million in volume flush candle. 30 million. That's 30. That was a 30 minute. Sorry, 30 minute. Wait, no, is that 30 minute? Oh, yeah, no, that is 30 million. Jesus Christ. 30 million. It's big. There's a lot of money in crypto, man. 30 million volume flush candle. Prices may wick slightly below $110,000, potentially 107 to 108, before rebounding toward 114, 116. So they'll get rid of those people that want to buy lower as it dips. And, they'll keep on buying as long as it's dipping, I'm sure. But then it's going to rebound. This aligns with prior Bitcoin liquidation events where the market extends, hunts liquidity, then rebounds 3 to 5%. And again, I know that this was all triggered because of Trump's tariff announcement. And, but this was something that all of crypto was getting to a point where it was overvalued and people were buying. And these are things that we need to happen. But instead of complaining about them, we just take them opportunities. Like, again, I'm not going to go back to it as I'm finishing this, but that, this here real quick. These are all on sale. Every single one of these is on sale. Go buy something. It's on sale. So, okay. Stacker agent plan. So again, we're using Stacker agent GPT right now, so it's going to give us a plan. Optimal buy zone, short-term swing. Entry at 107, 109. So if you want to place an order, you could also do that on the Solana blockchain, by the way. You can do that right here on Jupiter. You could go here to swap, and you have a trigger, and look at this. If I had USDC, say I was buying USDC, or I had USDC and I want to buy Bitcoin, I could just go Bitcoin, and they have this thing called wrapped Bitcoin, and I could buy Bitcoin right here. Like here's one Bitcoin, 11,856. There you go. So you could buy Bitcoin, and it will give you an equivalent to Bitcoin on the Solana blockchain. Just a cool little fact if you didn't know. Stop loss between 104,000. Target 113. Second target 116, and that's if you're selling. If you're just trying to buy the dip and hold for long term, then this is a great opportunity to buy the dip. Stacker agent score, momentum 65, entry 90, volume 85, holder, and then holders 70. So this is Bitcoin, but it's giving it a score of 80 out of 100. So Bitcoin is showing signs of exhaustion in this dip. My projected low short-term price around 107 to 108. So there you go. Time to buy the dip. Yeah. Might be a good time to pump or sell, Carly. What's your personal call? Thanks for answering the previous question. Of course. I honestly, from what I'm reading right here, because I do lean on AI to help me analyze this stuff because, I don't want to think about it all day. And it's made me, it does work. It actually does help you make good decisions and analyze the charts well. From what it sounds like is it's actually very, it's hit a bottom right now, but it's still wicking, which means that there's still people that are that are selling low. But once those people get exhausted, I think it's going to rebound. And you could already kind of see that in these charts. You could even, not this one. Where is it? Refresh it. Yeah, just look at the perp one. There you go. You can already see it in these charts, how it's already picking up volume. We had the huge dip, and this is Solana, but it dipped, but it went back. But you can look at Bitcoin. Had exactly the same thing. So it's finding its new trading point, and then I think that it's gonna, like, here, I don't know how much I have to zoom out to see. I don't know if it's actually going to be on here, but there's huge dips that have happened. Here's an example. That's not quite as much, but there's huge dips. And then once it finds, where is it? I'm going to find the actual last one. There's a good example right there. Look at this. Same type of thing happened. Just crashed out here. You can zoom in there a little bit. But it stabled out in the same exact way it's doing it now, and then people started buying, and it recovered the price. And again, my personal thought on it, call me my conspiracy theory thoughts, are that there's people that make announcements to, like, in the government, and and it causes crashes, and then it recovers, and it will start to just, there's going to be dips, but I think any point right now is a good on sale price for any crypto, because it's just going to recover, because the people that caused the crash, they don't want it to crash because they want to do this again. So collect more of the asset, and then what's that question? Oh no, I'm happy, Carly. I'm happy to answer the questions. I'm just glad I have everything up on the screen. Sometimes it doesn't pop up. I'm here to help everybody. Like, this is just what I do. I just do this stuff myself, and I love the fact of it, like, that I could just stream and just tell people what I'm already doing with AI. I love the fact that AI is so helpful with this stuff. I could show you other stuff. You could see other stuff on my stream where I use AI to also, like, with perps in particular. Like, I'll just show you that real quick. This might actually be helpful. If I wanted to, let me refresh this so it's actually I'll go to Stacker GBT again. I post it on my X profile all the time. Have a fresh chat. Just grab a couple Solana charts. Don't want to be that zoomed out. Couple more. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to grab a couple of these, starting at the 1 minute. And if you want to know the indicators that I have turned on here, I have Bollinger Bands, I have Moving Average Exponential, Relative Strength Index, I have Volume, and then I have VWAP, or VWAP, however you actually pronounce it out loud. That's what I always call it. And I think that the moving average, the Bollinger Bands, and the volume are, like, the ones that I use the most. As you see, look at all the volume down here. You could see when everything got busy and it was all red. So if you start seeing these giant red volume candles, probably not a good time to be buying. You want to find a bottom. But then these Bollinger Bands help me know. So as the volume gets, like, crazier, and there's meaning that people are willing to buy high, sell low, and it just goes up. That's when these Bollinger Bands get, like, really wide. So you see parts like here, people are buying a wider range, so the Bollinger Bands get wide. So, what did I do? Gosh. There we go. Sorry about that. So the Bollinger Bands get wide. But let's look at a normal part of like a normal trading part. So I'm just looking at a 1 minute chart, but if you even look at, like, here, when it starts to balance out, there's a lot of opportunity there. You could have said, okay, it's kind of hard to tell. Sometimes it fakes it out, but because there wasn't a retest, So this right here is a good example. Like I would have probably bought on this one. I would have like bought here, because this only went, this one candle touched and this other one candle touched, but it didn't close any higher because it wicked back up. But this one it did twice, so I probably would have bought here, but then I could have sold right there because it hit the top of the Bollinger Band, and taken my profit. And then it reversed, and then it hit the bottom of the Bollinger Band. If you want to be 100% sure, wait until it tests twice, hits the Bollinger Band twice, and it recovered. Didn't hit it that time, but you just could have followed right here from here, or from here. So you bought here, and then you sold here where it hit the top of the Bollinger Band. You're noticing a thing? You're buying less. And even if like the prices end up going up here and you're like buying at the bottom of the Bollinger Band and selling at the top, even if you've sold, you're just rinsing and repeating. You're building more capital. Say, I don't know if I did something smart or dumb, but I sold all my coins when everything was crashing today to use it as cash to buy coins at a lower price. Now, it just depends on if you sold first or not. That, you know, you don't want to ever just like be following selling, like you don't want to be holding the bag, but if you sold it. And that's part of the reason why I say use tools like Stacker GPT's one that I could stare at the charts and go like, oh God, what's going on? Or I could just paste the charts in, and then it has API access, can help me analyze it. If you don't use Stacker or something like that, just go and talk to regular chat GPT and have it analyze these charts for you, because it's going to be a game changer for you to make quick decisions. But if you sold higher, then absolutely it's a good idea. And then buy back in once the price has stabilized, which from what we've gone through today and looked at this, like it was a different chat there, but what we went through, it does show that this is probably getting close to the bottom. If not, like, you know, there might be some wicks where it goes a little bit lower, but it probably rebounds. So if you sold anywhere above where we are right now, and you bought now, then you know technically you're good. You're like, as far as what the charts are telling us. So, but I'm glad that you were able to get some liquidity out and that you increased your position. But here, I was going to show you this real quick. So, okay, like I was going to show you. Here we go to do. Stacker GPT, is this a good time to open a SOL perp? And a perp is a perpetual. You're basically betting on the price going up. Then that's what I've been doing, honestly. Oh yeah, ChatGPT, and it's analyzing charts. It's a godsend for so many of us. Let me see. So, is it a good time to open up a SOL perp? What the data is telling us, SOL futures open interest remains high, so it is a good time to open up a long. It's the saying. However, the funding rate has turned negative in recent periods. That's usually signals more demand. Demand for short time positioning, or at least more bearish bets, meaning that there's people still thinking that the price is going to be going down based off of people placing bets if the price is going to go up or down. My average price for Bitcoin was around 114,000, so I'm hoping for it to go up to 130. You know, here's the thing: Bitcoin is always going to go up over time. If you zoom out, it's going to go up, because the thing is that Bitcoin has a finite amount. Solana does not have a finite amount. Ethereum doesn't. You could have other coins, like I'm bullish on the Gary coin that has a finite amount that's on the Solana blockchain, but it's still on the Solana blockchain. But most blockchain tokens, they do not have a fixed amount, but Bitcoin does. So if you even compare Bitcoin to gold, they could say, here's all the gold in the world, but how we don't know that. What if we dug up a big mine and we discovered like 10,000 times more gold than we've ever discovered in history? Just a random number. And then, then we we would actually have way more supply, which make all the other gold in the universe or on the planet go down. Maybe a meteor hit the planet with a that was just made out of gold, and then all the gold is basically useless because we have way too much and we don't have anything to do with it. But Bitcoin is just, it's a way for us to store value in something that we've all decided that it's a store of value, but we know for a fact how much there ever will be for all time, and there's a mechanism to distribute it over time. Sol keeps on crashing because Sol is basically, Bitcoin is crashing. Bitcoin is crashing, not Sol. So when Bitcoin crashes, everything follows. That's why I was trying to show you like the difference in these maps here. Bring this one up real quick. Like in here. So like this, we're looking at Bitcoin right now. Leave me alone, phone. Don't listen to me. We're looking at Bitcoin right here, and it had this our big crash, you know. Why is it not? There we go. We had that crash with Bitcoin, but we also had the same crash with Ethereum. And then we also have the same crash. It's not even going correctly right now. There's a big pump. These were good times to buy because look, I was going from these points. We'll see if that trends, but this is a new trend. But go lower. Okay, but yeah, so it's the same exact pattern. It looks like the Rocky Mountains, right? You're right. But point is that the same pattern. So when people start selling Bitcoin, all the other blockchains kind of follow. It's unfortunate, but it's a good way for us just to look at Bitcoin and know if something starts happening here, it's just to look at the other ones. There we go. Go back to this. Boom. Okay. There we go. Okay, so Sol futures, Sol remain high, showing a lot of capital is riding on the Sol perpetuals. However, the funding rate is low. Okay, so technicals are mixed. You could find charts showing resistance zone areas at 260 and then also at 210. The perpetuals, hold on. Yeah, it knows the current price. My edge base take, what and would I do if there were my trades? Given a mix, wait for a clearer confirmation is what it's saying to do. But, you know, it's being less. What are your thoughts on XRP? Because 50% say it's good. And, you know, I don't have any direct thoughts on XRP, but my blanket thought is that everything is, if you thought that it was going to be a good buy before, it's just on sale right now. That's really what it is. And, you know, long term depends on how long you hold it, because you could have held it before it dipped and then, you know, sold it, and then when it dipped, bought back in, and it would have been a good buy. So I don't have any direct thoughts on it. It's just that I think that anything based off of these are just sales. Like, this is just, if you were pump token is 31% off. Doge is 23% off. DOT is then we have like XPL is 39% off. So it's, I guess the big point of it is, like, it's not any of these tokens' fault that they're down. So this is an opportunity for you to buy cheaper. That's all it really is. So 50% off means 50% cheaper. So sorry, but that's really just the way I look at it, because my goal is not to hold XRP. I guess would be the point that I get at. Like that wouldn't be my goal. My goal would be to hold it for it to pump so I could sell it and make a profit. What am I currently buying? Well, I am buying like certain tokens that I know that are going to pump. Like, I'm buying more Solana. Like I told you, I was bullish on Gary and Drafish. Those are two. That's a part of an ecosystem that I'm actually active in. And the reason why the Gary one is because they have a AI agent that they're doing that does auto trading, and half of the fees go back into actually buying the token, not to sell or distribute or anything like that, but it's the company, they're buying back the token, so it's actually making the price go up because they're taking their fees and holding it in that token, which eventually they will spend, but the price will be more. But right now, it would be something for you to buy, and the price would go up over time, every time that there's a buyback that they do. So that's one reason I get theirs. I think any of the things like Doge is always a good one to jump into. Pump, like the Launchpad tokens, I think are good. I mean, Pump is a huge token to hold. Like you have Jito Sol, which is, it's just a token that's tethered to the blockchain. But like any actual like validator token like Jito Sol or Jupe Sol is great to have, but it's not going to fluctuate any different. But they're just always safe to have. But yeah, like I'm not super much on like Pengu and those ones, just because they tend to they tend to just be like pump and dump culture tokens. But then there's also Render, which is like an AI token, which anything with like AI is usually a good one to look at. Yeah, like any of those ones, blockchain or platform tokens like Binance. Right here we have Binance, I think is a great one. Any of those are always good buys. But which one? Where what am I? No, is it on Coinbase? I buy all of my stuff basically. It's not actually on that one's not on Coinbase, because it's not from what we've learned about adding tokens to things like Coinbase is that you almost have to give them a whole bunch of tokens. Yeah, that's the one that I like, Gary. It's like a giraffe logo. It's this one. But you could look into there's a reason why. I know that everybody always is just shilling their stuff, and I always never like to do that. Why is it not bringing it up here? They're the ones that made this agent right here, the stacker, the custom GPT, and they're actually making an agent. So why am I not finding the contract? I have way too many tabs open. It's right there. There it is. But it had its dip too. It was at like 15 cents, and now it's like about what? It's 11.5, which it's definitely a good way to buy in, to buy back. But the price, if you see, like it's been going up. This is when that agent launched, and it was doing all the buybacks. It just like the private beta just launched just the other day, or right here. Hold on, where is it? Where are days? Let's say October 5th. Why is it not showing it? It's not showing the chart correctly. It's only showing it to October 5th. That's weird. I don't know why it's not showing the chart correctly. That's weird. Here I go here. I'll just go to... This is the one. So here. You see these pumps. This is where they announced the first use of it. So... Oh, you're not cutting me off. I'm just sharing. I'm sharing things that I'm involved with, your buys. But how long do you think this crash will cause? Like again, I'm not sure how long the crash will happen, but I feel like it's not going to be like a huge spike up. We had the money taken from us just now. That's literally what it is. Just know what just happened in the market. There's people that put information out. It caused people to sell, and then that was the smart money. The people that were watching the news and they're like, "Oh, this is happening," and they hit the sell button. And then they caused people to actually, but a lot of those people, they probably knew about the information. They had shorts in, or it could be perpetuals or whatever. However they're doing it, and now that they have their money, they're going to buy back in. and they're going to let the price go back up because this has happened before. It's going to happen again. So my advice would be just to continue growing and then pulling money back out of the ecosystem. Like, don't look at this as a way that you lost. Look at it as that everything just went on sale, and then I do believe the prices are going to go above where they are or where they were when this dip happened, and then this just know that it's going to happen again. It's going to happen several times more, many times more. But just know that you're going to be able to collect more every single time. You may buy some more, and then it crashes, and then you just you sell out afterwards. Or you sell out at the top, no matter what it is, because you just average your higher buys, then it dips, and then you just have to ride that back up. So I know it's not the perfect answer, but that's what I do every time. Like, and it's served me really well. I just collect, and then when I'm not using that liquidity, I go to things like this, like Jupiter Lend, for instance, and I put it to work. Like, I could take, say I'm holding USDC, I could lend it out and be making 7.91%. I know that's not great, but it's like I could have my crypto waiting for the dips. Bitcoin. I bought Bitcoin. I bought more Bitcoin. To answer your question, did I buy Bitcoin or XRP? I bought more Bitcoin. I bought wrapped Bitcoin, to be perfectly fair, but it's the same value. But you could take this right here and say you don't have I don't think they have it on here, it's wrapped Bitcoin, but I know you could go over here. I think you could lend, say you have Bitcoin. Do they have Bitcoin on this side? I don't see it. There it is, Bitcoin based. There we go. So now I could take like a wrapped Bitcoin right here. That's actually not giving me anything, but I can borrow against it. There, here we are. And I can get interest on it. The Bitcoin ones aren't as good. But the Solana, say you buy Solana, you could just take like JupSol, so you stake it and then you put it here. Yeah, you should get interest on it. Or you could just take your normal Solana or anything like that and put it in here. Or you can come to earn right here. You get your percentage. Solana, say you want a stable coin, you can get USDC. Say you don't, or USDT right there, or Euro C. These are stable coins, but then also Solana. So you'd be able to get an interest rate just by having like ready to deploy. But the reason why I mention USDC is because there was a crash, and the crash could have happened. You could have been earning your casual 8% on your USDC. But then it crashes, and now you just were able to have capital ready to go and buy a bunch of Solana, wrapped Bitcoin, or whatever. That's my personal strategy. Is I keep on. I'm okay with the passive income on things like USD, like a stable coin, is a smaller passive income. If need to go. I mean, like, I don't know how much it's going to go up tonight, but it's probably still going to slowly fluctuate and go down tonight if I had to speculate. That's my theory. I think it's going to slowly go down through the rest of tonight, just a little tiny bit, and then it's going to finally hit a bottom and it's going to go back up, because it looks like it's slowed down. And AI has also given me a similar answer to what we were both saying, that it's going to go down. That it's close to its bottom, but there's going to be wicks. So it mentioned, like, just I'm not sure do you place your limit orders in, or are you just doing spot orders? Because if you place a limit order, you don't have to stay up all night. You just put in your limit order, and if it dips, you got it. You're ready to go. You could do that on Bitcoin. You could do that on whatever platform, whatever you're doing. But yeah, personally, I'd rather hold Bitcoin, because it's something that's going to be there like for a long time. It's built to be the new gold. It is literally built to replace gold, because there's a finite amount. Okay, so you're just doing spot orders. Do you know how to do? I'm using Jupiter right now, which is Solana based, but like, it's super easy. So I'll just show you an example right here. So all you do is I have my my order page, and so I'm going to do this with you. Say you're doing Bitcoin, we could do wrapped Bitcoin on here. So it'd be wrapped RB Bitcoin. Hit that there. So if I wanted to buy Bitcoin, so say whatever currency, say I'm doing this out of dollars, and I wanted to buy in dollars, since I'm buying from the price of USD, I could be holding USDC. So a spot order is you're placing the order at whatever the current price is. So like right now, if I bought this, I'd be like, okay, I want to buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, right? That's going to give me 0.008888579 Bitcoin after all whatever the blockchain fees that get charged. I don't have the funds in this wallet that I'm not even connected. Right now to do it, but right now if I hit this button, that would be the price. I would see it just shifted because Bitcoin's price shifted a little bit. That would be the price that I get. But okay, so we're saying 888674. Let's call it that. So now, if I said I wanted to have $1,000, but I want to wait right now, it's going to give me same thing, just roughly about. There's usually different fees in place, but say right now Bitcoin's price is 112,444. But maybe I wanted to wait for it to go down to, so I could say $108,000 and $108,500. How about that? $108,500. So now, if you see, right now, I would get a little bit more Bitcoin, right? Because I waited for that price to go down. But now it's not guaranteed. I'm waiting for Bitcoin to go down 3.53%. So say, we were looking at, why is this not refreshing the chart? Boom, come on, bring up the chart. So again, like if I did $1,000 right now, it would give me 889407. But I could, with a limit order, I could change the price. So again, we were saying like 108,500. I don't know why the charts aren't loading, but you get the idea. And it would get me the price when it dips. It does take a very small amount of like a gas that it takes and puts into pulls out of your wallet. So if you're doing this on Jupiter, it's all in Solana, so it pulls a little tiny bit of that just so it's able to pay fees, and whatever is left over, it deposits it back into your wallet once the trade goes through. So that's the difference between a market order or a spot order. Market order, instant, like I hit $1,000. It's going to give me this much Bitcoin right now. Or if I wanted it to be a different coin, if I wanted it to be Solana, $1,000 would give me this much Solana right now. But if I went over here, $1,000, again, after the fees are a little different on trigger orders, but that's how much it would give me right now. But if I wanted to say, you know what, but wait until we go down to 180, I think it's going to go down to 180 again for Solana. Then you could wait. It's going to go down another 4.78%, and then that's done. But maybe you want to buy a little bit of Solana every single day. You could also do recurring orders right here, or again, I said Solana, but it could be Bitcoin as well, whatever is available on that blockchain. So we could even switch it back to Bitcoin, wrapped Bitcoin. So if I wanted to say every single week I want to buy $100 of Bitcoin, I could say every week I want to buy one order of $100 of Bitcoin. Or this is for how many orders you want. So you'd say for the next 10 weeks, I want it to buy $100 every single week, and that would be how you would do this. So, or you could say every day, I want you to buy $100 worth and do it for 30 days, depending on what your budget is, and then you could even put a range. So for stop limit, here's the price. It's the floor and the. So for stop limit, the stop price. Well, again, this is a limit. It's a little bit different. You're just putting in an order for like a trigger or a limit order, you're putting in a price to actually buy. But if you're doing something like and once the sell goes through, it's as simple as just saying, so say I bought this a trigger order, you could call it a stop loss, you know. You can, some platforms will actually let you do both, but say I bought, you know, what was this amount? $1,000. Say I bought the $1,000 of Bitcoin, which is this. Let me just copy that. Let's flip it. So now we have that Bitcoin, you know, after fees, it's actually 998. And then I could say I want to sell it when Bitcoin hits $118,000. Yes, now that would give me an additional $47. But maybe I say, you know what? If Bitcoin, the current price, maybe I say, you know, if Bitcoin hits 110, I don't know, 110, you'd lose your $25, but you would just place that order to trade back, and that would be your stop loss. Unfortunately, you can only put one in at a time on Jupiter because with this type of order. But what you can do, if you go over here to like perpetuals, which means that you're betting on the direction that it's going, you can go to AI, have it analyze the charts. That's what we were doing earlier before we got distracted. Where's the tab? You can come here, and then you'd have your market. If you can't have a stop loss or take profit in until you've opened up a trade. So I would have to go here. I would have to like say it's a market order, which means that you're going in at a certain price. So say we're doing Bitcoin, or we're doing it for Solana. So let's say we're doing it with USD, stable amount like dollars, or you could do it with Ethereum. So you were looking at Bitcoin earlier, right? So let's do Bitcoin. So you'd say the market price. I believe that the price of I'm going to put a bet $100 that the price of Bitcoin is going to go up. And then you could use leverage, you could double it. But since you're doing a market order, I could put in a take profit and a stop loss right now. Like I will take profit when Bitcoin hits $113,000. And then I will, if Bitcoin hits 112, then I will just sell. Like I'll just empty it, I'll take my losses. So that's the difference right there. But unfortunately, with like a limit, and by the way, if you want to do a short and you believe the price is going to go down, you do the same thing. And there's a look deeper into leveraging or like actually doing leveraging, because that could just completely destroy you. But it makes your price. I'd say perpetuals are pretty damn safe if you don't leverage. But when you leverage, today's event would have completely destroyed everyone. And then you could also do limit orders, just like I was saying. Be like, say, I want to wait, but there's no way that you could put in a take profit or a stop loss, unfortunately. That's just the downside. And once it opens, then you have to put it in. And again, that's the reason why I like things like, why I gravitate towards things like Stacker Agent, which is one of the tools that is allowing me to not have to be put in the limitations of this. Like here's like I like doing these with Solana better because their price is a little more. I mean, look, they got up to 190 again just while we were here. It went up $10. That would have been a great long. I could have put in a long 20. You know. Oh, by the way, they go much higher on their leverage now. 250x. That's crazy. It's super risky. Cool. All right. But yeah, so like that's what I would do. So yeah, cool. Again, thanks for hanging out. Let me show you some of this stuff. My thoughts on why the prices have gone down. Again, I do believe that it is manipulation. People like, I believe the tariffs, it's like part of its manipulation, and I think they knew what was going to happen. But instead of getting upset about it, you know, take it as an opportunity. There's so many of these. Where are they? There's so many of these right here. Wherever the bubble chart went, doesn't matter. Of these cryptos that all of us can. I don't know where it went. That all of us get to use, and all of us are. not bird eye dots. It's SO. There you go. There's so many of these that many of us, we may have wanted at a price, and I just look at it like a sale. If you wanted this before, XPL, 33% off. It may not recover tomorrow, but this is a chance for you to just buy it cheaper. Grab your discount. So thanks again for hanging out with me. I'm going to be doing more lives like this, just going over different changes in the market. Plus, check out some of the uploaded ones. I have tutorials that I upload onto my channel on YouTube. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Make sure that you're always doing your own research and hitting that like, subscribe, ring the bell. I hope that you grab some stuff on sale. Grab some sales. There's a whole bunch of them out there.